Hello. Just jumping on here because, firstly, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kimberley. I do the marketing and player support for Inventus, and I deal a lot with transition of players from one country to another. Mostly your top end, so like your NRL players. And then I do support the younger boys with transition more in the background, though not in more as much of a forward space. Hence my talk today, my little talk. I just want to jump on because I posted today about Beck and Connie transitioning to the UK and how massive that was, and how they've smashed that. Haven't you guys? You've done so well. It's really cool. But I thought I would jump on because it made me think that from what you see, I guess, on social media, everything looks all like easy and smooth and, no fuss and no problem. And I think it's really important to be real about transition. It's something I'm really passionate about. I have a lot of experience with transition. I have done it many times myself growing up. I grew up around an entire community where people were coming into and out of my schooling life transitioning. So it was a massive subject and a lot of talk between us all because we're all going through the same thing. So, sorry, just my son wanting his drift truck keys. So what I was saying was transition, yes. It's really important that when you're going to make the decision to move countries, that you're aware that it's not easy, like you may have been led to believe it is, or how you feel like it is from what you've seen. And it doesn't matter how much money or little money you have. Everybody that transitions struggles at some point with isolation, feeling lonely, and just not feeling like you've got your tribe around you, you're like in a circle. You have moments where you sit in your room if you're in a hostel situation, or in your flash apartment, or just in a hotel room, like anywhere that you are. Every one of those people will sit there and have moments where they think, man, like this is a bit rough, or this isn't what I imagined it was going to be, or I didn't think I was going to be lonely. Sometimes if you're not at training and you haven't got to know people yet, or you've just got there, you could spend a whole weekend not physically being around another human being for the entire weekend because you just don't know anybody. And even then, you could be around people all weekend that you've just met, but still feel really lonely because you don't know those people. So you don't feel 100% comfortable to be yourself, and it's tough. And so I guess my message today of my very long chat about transition is that it's really important to talk about it with people. And by talk about it, I don't mean like you don't have to go blasting it across social media, but more meaning like you don't have to pretend that it's not hard because you don't think that it's just you that finds it hard and that everyone else that's moved overseas or moved countries didn't have a problem. Because I guarantee you, like 100% guarantee, that they all at some point have struggled. And if you don't share that you're struggling, people aren't going to know to be a bit kinder, reach out and invite you to things, check in with you, because they're just going to assume that you're fine because you're just acting like everything's all good and you're not worried about, moving countries. And some people just have moments of when, they're a bit sort of shock, and then some people really struggle. And the difference is between the people that, because everyone struggles, let's just say everyone struggles when they move. The difference between the people that get over it and move past that point and the people that don't is literally just a very simple thing, which is just communicate. Yeah, communicate. If that's the biggest thing I could say, is just let your manager, who you're staying with, your recruitment manager at the club, your welfare manager, someone else, anyone, someone, let them know that you're finding it a bit tough. And you can just as simple as saying, I'm just finding it a bit tough. Do you have any tips? Like, what can I do to settle a bit better? Or, did you ever feel like this? And then more often than not, the minute you open your mouth and say you're struggling, you'll get so many people that are like, same, like I did too. And this is how long, I was struggling for, and this is what I found helpful. And then I think as soon as you actually even say the words out of your mouth, you start feeling better, because you realize that you're not alone and that everybody struggles. No matter what they have, what material objects they have, what they've been given or not been given, the feeling is still the same. And it's something that you do need to think about when you're going to move, is that you need to be prepared for that. You and your partner, or whoever's moving with you, your wife, you have to be prepared, and you have to like make a deal from the start, that you're gonna communicate, and you're gonna let each other know, or let people, your manager or your person, know when you're not coping, because otherwise it's just not going to work. So yeah, I hope that makes everyone who's maybe transition at the moment and watches this and is feeling a bit lonely, like, I want you to know that that's so normal. Everybody goes through that. And those that are thinking about moving, like, take that into consideration. I don't want to scare you off moving. It's more so like to prepare you, so that when you get there and you feel lonely all of a sudden, or you feel a struggle, I want you to be able to go, I remember the hearing this. Yes, normal. This, I remember this. And then you'll hopefully just move past that. And then it'll, down the track, you'll look back and think, yeah, that was really hard, but I got through it. And then you can share your experience with those next people that come through that are transitioning. Be mindful that they're also going to be struggling, and maybe remember to reach out and just check in with them and just say, hey, you're good, invite them round. Just, I guess, be there, really. Yeah. So on that note, if anyone has any questions about transition, or like about ideas that you would like to hear about that help make things a little bit smoother, I'll be happy to answer them. So just send me a DM, or I could put one of those question things, ask a question, and then you can ask on there, and then I'll try and answer them as best I can.